Indeed, Ewan, now in its third and possibly the final week of evidence, the Oscar Pistorius murder trial has come down to one key question. What was the athlete's state of mind when he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp on Valentine's morning of last year? Now, the answer to that question could result in Pistorius' acquittal or a sentence of life imprisonment for murder. Now, painting a picture of Pistorius as almost manically obsessed with safety after a difficult childhood, the defense's forensic psychiatrist Meryll Vorster took to the stand this week and described Pistorius as being highly anxious and, in a move that surprised the court, even diagnosed Pistorius as having a mental illness. Now, a diagnosis which could have a profound effect on the outcome of the case. Take a look at this.
Mr. Pistorius has a long history of generalized anxiety disorder that appears to have been increasing with time. It is likely to have commenced at the age of 11 months when he was hospitalized and underwent bilateral below knee amputations at a time when he had no language and he could not have understood what was happening to him.
If you say that there's a possibility he suffered from a diminished responsibility, then he has to be referred today for mental observation.
Well, that could be something the court could consider.
Now, with the diagnosis of mental illness, the state has asked the court to place Pistorius under mental evaluation at a psychiatric hospital for a period of 1 month. Now, with us in the studio today to get an understanding of the legal implications of this sudden revelation is Chairperson of the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee, Mr. William Booth. Great to have you back with us, sir. We've missed you.
Fantastic to be back.
So this is a bit of an awkward swing because firstly we were talking about punitive self-defense, that Oscar thought that he had shot an intruder, and then it was an accident as he changed it when he was being cross-examined, and now we're at a juncture where we're looking at general anxiety disorder. So how could this possibly play out in the case?
Well, I think he's probably presented 4 different versions. This is now the 4th one. And it's rather surprising that it comes so late in the case. Normally, if a person is going to allege there's some or other mental illness or something similar to what is now being put in front of the court, that will be done right up front.
Yeah. And
explain, look, that Oscar had acted in a certain way because he had this generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
But it didn't even come out during his own testimony, and it comes out now very, very late, after he's already testified. So that's being questioned.
Yeah. In your experience, has this happened quite a lot, that so far late in the game that you'd have a different defense, especially one relating to the person's mental state being used?
No, definitely not. I think you decide beforehand, particularly you've had a lot of opportunity to consult, look at the evidence of the state, discuss the matter with your client and any other expert witnesses, that you will present one defense, or if you're going to have more than one defense, you're going to state that right up front.
Yeah.
And particularly if it relates to a person's mental state.
Yeah.
That is something usually that needs to be dealt with at the beginning of the trial, not literally right at the last minute.
Now, what do you think, I mean, in terms of, if you were to put yourself in the shoes of Advocate Nell, he has raised the points that in terms of analyzing someone and diagnosing them with somebody that has general anxiety disorder, Oscar Pistorius had not taken those kind of steps to show that he was in that kind of state of mind. He didn't have burglar bars, a functioning alarm system. What do you make of that?
Yes, I think that's quite an important point. The other aspect that Nell has raised is why then go to the actual danger? Why approach the place where Oscar knows, certainly in his mind at the time, that there's the danger? And I think that was a lot of emphasis was placed on that.
Yeah.
So Nell is now saying, well, let him be referred. In terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, an accused person may at any stage during a trial be referred for mental assessment, be seen by a psychiatrist, a panel, and then a determination be made.
Yeah.
But that relates to mental illness or mental defect. So it has to be decided if this illness or disorder that has been presented to court that Oscar has is in fact a mental illness or mental defect.
So how would it work now? Let's say that Judge Masipa was to send Oscar to a psychiatric clinic. Obviously, the past 8 weeks have been very heavy on Mr. Pistorius. So how would you then assess it fairly and then be able to take that into evidence and say, okay, this is the state of mind that you were in a year ago?
Well, he's got to be sent for observation for a period up to 30 days. And a panel then will determine his mental state. He that is Oscar now, is entitled to have his own representation, psychiatrist, psychologist, on that panel. Then a report will be submitted to the court, and a determination has to be made by the court. And if it's a situation that is a mental defect or illness, that could be the end of the trial, but Oscar could then be referred to a state psychiatric institution for who knows how long, and declared a state patient.
Wow. Wow. So very, very interesting turn of events, if you will. Thank you very much, William.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So stick around. We will be back with more on the Pistorius trial just after 7 a.m. with clinical psychologist Abraham Leroux on the details of Pistorius' mental conditions. Of course, also refer to www.sabcnews.com for more details on the trial. Stick around. We'll be right back.